Hello there, you're now with me, Handy Gui, for TVS Nightline. And here are the headlines for tonight. "11,000 children dead amidst Israeli bombardment in Gaza." Yemen's Houthi fighters warn the US and UK that their airstrikes will not go unanswered or unpunished. Two Malaysians detained in Guantanamo Bay prison are set to come home. For the past 108 days, Israeli army attacks in the Gaza Strip have resulted in the tragic loss of 11,000 children and 7,500 women. 7,000 individuals, predominantly women and children, remain trapped under debris or are reported missing, constituting 70% of this group. Local reports indicate that the number of bodies reaching hospitals has exceeded 25,900. Additionally, a staggering 63,000 people have sustained injuries since the commencement of the war on October 7, 2023. Situation remains dire, with a significant impact on the civilian population in the region.
The Gaza government's media office reported extensive damage from Israeli attacks, including 70,000 houses destroyed and 219,000 rendered uninhabitable. The healthcare sector suffered, with 337 healthcare workers and 45 civilian defense officials killed. Additionally, 119 journalists lost their lives, and Israel detained 99 healthcare workers and 10 journalists, displacing 2 million people. The report highlighted dire conditions in shelters, causing 400,000 infectious disease cases and 8,000 cases of hepatitis A. Pregnant women and individuals with chronic illnesses face critical risks due to the healthcare and medication shortages. The Israeli army targeted government facilities, schools, mosques, churches, healthcare institutions, and cultural heritage, causing widespread destruction. Over 65,000 tons of explosive were launched since October 7th, portraying a grim picture of the conflict's devastating impact on Gaza.
Despite the numerous military strikes carried out by the United States and the United Kingdom, Yemen's Houthi fighters issued a warning that these actions will not be left unanswered or unpunished. Its military spokesperson Yahya Sari posted on X that they will steadfastly maintain their position and assured a retaliatory response to the joint strikes by the Western countries.
Earlier this month, the US and UK launched strikes against the Houthi rebel group, including additional air raids targeting perceived missile threats to both civilians and military vessels. The latest airstrikes, confirmed in a joint statement, target 8 Houthi locations. In response, the Houthis reported 18 strikes across their territory. Beyond military actions, the US is using diplomatic and financial measures after designating the Houthis as a terrorist organization. In November 2023, the Houthis expanded their target from vessels with Israeli connections to include US and British interests in shipping lanes, distancing their focus from the Palestinian cause.
Two Malaysians who confessed to conspiring with an Al-Qaeda affiliate in the deadly Bali bombing 2 decades ago may be returned to Malaysia before the year end as part of a plea deal finalized last week. A jury of military officers in Guantanamo Bay will determine a sentence within the range of 20 to 25 years. The New York Times correspondent in Guantanamo Bay reported that the plea bargain helped avoid prolonged litigation. The duo, previously held in a classified CIA prisons since captured in 2003, could soon be repatriated to Malaysia.
Two Malaysians, Muhammad Farid Amin, 48, and Muhammad Nazir Lab, 47, implicated in the 2002 Bali bombings, have pleaded guilty at Guantanamo Bay to conspiring in a pair of suicide bombings on the resort island of Bali that killed 202 people on October 12, 2002. The US government aims to resolve Guantanamo's national security cases through plea negotiations. The men, charged with Encep Nurjaman Hambali, agreed to testify against him. A plea deal last week sets the stage for the sentencing by a military jury and supports the US strategy. The proceedings may aid the trial of Hambali, scheduled for next year, as both detainees was questioned under the plea agreement.
The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah today granted an audience to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim for the final pre-cabinet meeting in Istana Negara, Kuala Lumpur. Istana Negara in a statement said the pre-cabinet meeting is a special occasion for both leaders, as it is the last one before His Majesty concludes his tenure as the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong on January 30th, 2024.
Since ascending the throne as the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong, His Majesty has graciously attended 160 pre-cabinet meetings, including a session earlier today with the 4 Prime Ministers. The first pre-cabinet meeting was held on February 13th, 2019. The pre-cabinet meetings are part of His Majesty's weekly routine to discuss and exchange views with the Prime Ministers regarding government affairs and related issues. On October 27th of last year, the Sultan of Johor, Sultan Ibrahim Al-Mahum Sultan Iskandar, was chosen as the 17th Yang di-Pertuan Agong for a 5-year term, commencing at January 31st, 2024. Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, was also chosen as the Deputy Yang di-Pertuan Agong for the same period.
Efforts to repatriate a Sarawakian citizen allegedly stranded in the Philippines are currently underway. The Federal Minister of Women, Family and Community Development, Datuk Seri Nancy Shukri, assured that her ministry is closely working with the Deputy Prime Minister's office to address the issue. She further disclosed that the latest development, which involves the issue of overstaying, will be handled by Wisma Putra.
Jadi yang sekarang ini cuma nak menunggu kos dari segi sebab dia overstay. Dia pergi sana dia overstay, maka kos dia, penalti dia perlu dikira. Dan setakat hari ini saya belum terima, saya belum cek lagi. Banyak yang telah dibantu lah. Cuma dari segi nak bawa balik kerana ada dari segi undang-undang lain, dari segi overstay kos, macam mana nak mengendalikannya, itu part itu saja.
Nancy Shukri further revealed that she had also discussed the matter with the Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof. She reiterated that Fadilah has also instructed his team to investigate the matter. Previously, Cheryl Balicia Cabrera claimed that her daughter, Dewi Farisha, aged 25, and her 2 grandchildren have been stranded in Manila, the Philippines, since 2019. Cheryl Balicia pointed out that her daughter's passport will also expire in February, that she has to send money every 2 days to cover the living costs of her child and grandchild who are living in a slum area in the country.
Judge of the Klang Session Court, Shafira Muhammad Said, has been appointed as the President of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Tribunal, while the position of Vice President is held by Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Nazruddin Mohammed, with Nurul Elida Baharuddin serving as the Secretary. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, Datuk Seri Nancy Shukri, announced that 15 secretariats have been appointed and 10 panel members will include representatives from Sabah and Sarawak to facilitate case handling in both states.
Dan saya telah secara peribadi telah meminta supaya seorang wakil daripada Sarawak dan juga seorang wakil daripada Sabah untuk mewakili kedua-dua negeri kita. Sebab walaupun pejabat belum ada di Sarawak dan Sabah, tetapi sekurang-kurangnya apabila mereka nak mendengar kes, mereka boleh menggunakan mungkin pejabat mahkamah ataupun yang pejabat AG boleh digunakan.
Commenting further, Nancy said that the proceedings for the alternative dispute resolution system have not begun as it involves laws that have not been gazetted.
Sebenarnya dia belum mula tu. Because so far, walaupun they have already started operation, they have to upgrade dia punya skill lah dari segi because ada undang-undang yang belum lagi boleh digunakan, belum digazet. Tetapi I must say that tribunal ini hanya satu pilihan, is an alternative. Sebab sebelum ini mereka boleh mengambil tindakan sebagai kes jenayah, Sexual Offences Act dari segi jenayah. Dan ini adalah quasi civil case. Jadi mereka boleh, ini adalah memberi peluang kepada mereka untuk menuntut apa yang mereka rasa seharusnya ganti rugi kepada mereka yang telah dikenakan gangguan seksual ini.
The Anti-Sexual Harassment Tribunal was established following the enforcement of the Sexual Harassment Act 2022, which provides provisions for the compensation for anyone sexually harassed, simultaneously increasing awareness to combat related offences.
Coming up right after the break, dengue fever claims 2 lives. NP hailing Rama package for food delivery workers. Right here on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned.
Bukan sekadar helaian kertas SPM adalah peperiksaan.
Hello there and welcome back. Now, the Malaysian Health Ministry said 2 deaths have been recorded due to complications arising from dengue fever in the second epidemiological week of 2024. Health Director General Dr. Muhammad Razzi Abu Hassan said the number of dengue fever cases have also increased from 3,181 to 3,525 cases.
Meanwhile, the number of hotspot localities were reported to number at 136, compared to 130 localities reported in the previous week. Of the 136 localities reported, 106 localities are in Selangor, followed by 17 in the Federal Territories and Putrajaya, 5 in Perak, 4 in Negeri Sembilan, and 2 localities each in Pulau Pinang and Sabah. As for chikungunya surveillance, Dr. Muhammad Razzi stated that no cases were recorded in the second epidemiological week, with only 1 case reported so far this year, and no chikungunya outbreaks have been reported. On Zika surveillance, he said that a total of 50 blood samples were taken and all screening results were negative.
The government has announced an allocation of 50 million ringgit for the renovation and upgrading of the Customs Department. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said 30 million ringgit is being added to the existing 20 million ringgit allocated for the purpose.
He also guaranteed better bonuses for Customs Department staff following the department's excellent performance last year.
Memandangkan prestasi JKDM itu yang membanggakan, maka peruntukan awal yang 20 juta itu kita tambah untuk custom saja 50 juta ringgit. Ini selain daripada yang kita umumkan, supaya perumahan kita itu diperbaiki dan tidak sangat uzur dan taif.
He said this in his speech at the 42nd World Customs Day celebration earlier today. Throughout 2023, the Customs Department had garnered a revenue of 55.1 billion ringgit, exceeding the 53.5 billion ringgit target by 1.6 billion ringgit or 3%.
At the same event, the Prime Minister hinted at a forthcoming increase in bonuses for members of the Customs Department this year compared to the previous year. The move is characterized as an expression for appreciation for the agency's pivotal role in contributing to the country's economic growth and maintaining the safety and security of the nation, as stated by Anwar.
Sebab itulah saya boleh beri jaminan bonus tahun ini akan lebih baik daripada sebelumnya.
Around 200,000 e-hailing and P-hailing workers across the country can now access internet services at a discounted rate starting from today until April 23rd. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil announced a strategic collaboration with telecommunication service providers offering a data plan of at least 40 gigabytes at a price as low as 33 ringgit during this promotional period.
Fahmi said this is a significant initiative in collaboration with Celcom Digi, Maxis, U-Mobile, TM, Unify Mobile, and YTL Communications or YES 5G, which is taken by the government and aiming to help the group, and that the offer period is most likely to be extended later. He added it also demonstrated the government's commitment to supporting the digital economy and ensuring essential services like P-hailing reach every corner of the country. According to the Ministry of Economy, the gig economy contributed approximately 7% to the country's gross domestic product in 2021, and this figure is expected to remain high in the coming years.
Toh Puan Naimah Abdul Khalid, the wife of former Finance Minister Tun Daim Zainuddin, was charged with failure to declare her assets to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC). The 66-year-old pleaded not guilty in the Sessions Court, facing charges under Section 36(2) of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act. This section pertains to the offence of willfully neglecting or failing to comply with the terms of a notice issued by the MACC to provide a written statement on oath regarding their assets. Upon conviction, the charge may result in a maximum 5-year jail term and a fine of up to 100,000 ringgit.
She was charged with not declaring her assets by deliberately giving a written statement under oath that did not comply with the terms of a notice dated November 8, 2023, sent to her by an officer from the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) with the rank of Commissioner on November 1, 2023. The undisclosed assets include Menara Ilham, 2 companies, 2 luxury cars, a house, and several lots of land. Prosecution is led by Deputy Public Prosecutors, while Naimah is represented by her legal team, Datuk Muhammad Yusof Zainal Abidin, M. Puravalen, and Alex Tan. The charges followed statements given by Naimah and her sons at the MACC headquarters regarding investigation into Daim. The Commission's investigation into Daim is based on information from the Pandora Papers, with the case papers opened in February last year.
Up next, Hezbollah targets command center in northern Israel, and Myanmar military plane overshoots runway in India, injuring 8 on board. Plus more world news on TVS Nightline after the break. Ever since the beginning of the Israel-Gaza war, the border between Lebanon and Israel experienced frequent clashes as Israel army engages in near-daily fire exchanges with Hezbollah, an ally of Hamas in Gaza. Hence, on Tuesday, Hezbollah claimed responsibility for targeting the Israeli army's northern command center, Mount Meron, based in northern Israel, in response to recent assassinations and repeated assaults on civilians in Lebanon.
The total death toll in southern Lebanon has reached 202, as reported by global media, and among the casualties, 147 were identified as fighters, primarily affiliated with Hezbollah, based on death notices released by the group. Additionally, the Zionist military strikes have claimed the lives of at least 26 civilians, including 3 journalists, 2 rescuers, and a Lebanese soldier. Hezbollah has suffered a loss of at least 16 fighters in Israeli strikes targeting Syria. The ongoing hostilities have resulted in over 83,000 Lebanese individuals being displaced from their homes, as reported by the International Organization for Migration. Hezbollah's first strike was on January 6, 2024, and came in response to the killing of Hamas deputy leader Saleh al-Aruri in a strike in Beirut, which was also widely known as caused by the Zionist regime.
Now, at least 8 people were injured after a Myanmar military aircraft that was supposed to fly back dozens of soldiers fleeing conflict at home overshot the runway of an airport in northeastern India earlier today. Indian police and military officials said the injured were among the 14 people on board the aircraft that was heading to Mizoram's Lengpui airport to take home the soldiers who had entered India last week.
Footage from local media showed the plane's cracked fuselage resting in a bushy area near the airport. Nearly 700 Myanmar soldiers have crossed into northeast India in the past 2 months after the anti-junta groups in Myanmar, backed by a pro-democracy parallel government, seized control of several military posts and towns near its borders. Indian authorities have been sending back the troops within days of them crossing over. An Indian military source said 276 Myanmar troops entered India last week after intense fighting close to the border, out of which 184 returned home on Monday.
A Japanese man who admitted starting a fire that killed 36 people at an anime studio in 2019 is facing a possible death sentence on Thursday when the court delivers its verdict. The July 2019 arson attack at the studios of Kyoto Animation was Japan's deadliest crime in decades, and the culprit is facing 5 charges, including murder, attempted murder, and arson, and prosecutors are seeking capital punishment.
Shinji Aoba has admitted to the crime, though his lawyers have entered a plea of not guilty due to mental illness. Firefighters called the incident unprecedented and said rescuing people and extinguishing the fire was extremely difficult. Prosecutors said Aoba had a delusion that the studio, known by its fans as Kyoani, stole his ideas, a claim the company has denied. Aoba himself nearly died in the fire, suffering 90% burns and reportedly needing 12 operations. He regained consciousness weeks later and was said to have sobbed with relief after undergoing a procedure that restored his ability to speak.
There have been multiple images and videos circulating in social media that France's iconic landmark, the Eiffel Tower, has been caught ablaze. Despite the information spreading like wildfire online, it is safe to say that Parisian Tower is standing upright, undamaged, and the whole thing is a hoax.
The Eiffel Tower, with over 7 million visitors a year, it comes as no surprise that individuals quickly turn to social media to respond to the rumors. The sad video or images that were posted have garnered millions of views and likes around the world, with many users on the social media app actually believing that such a thing had happened. All the videos and images have been debunked by experts and clarified as a recreation by the use of artificial intelligence as well as computer-generated imagery, as previously where one video went viral showing the Kremlin in Moscow, Russia, was also on fire. The public can check and view the Paris landmark online at earthtv.com. The Iron Lady consistently receives security-related calls, many of which turned out to be false alarms. In August 2023, a criminal investigation was initiated due to fake bomb reports leading to the evacuation of Paris Eiffel Tower on 2 occasions. The iconic landmark was cleared for approximately 2.5 hours on Saturday afternoon, August 12, following a bomb alert. Another misleading claim suggests that the Eiffel Tower lights were turned off in tribute to the victims of the 2021 attacks. However, the truth is that the lights on the Eiffel Tower routinely go off every night at 1 a.m. The deception was so convincing that a news organization even retweeted it, despite its complete falsity.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms. And those were the updates for this evening. I'm Handy Gui. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.